Today we are here to discuss the life of Walter Elias Disney. He once said, "Our greatest natural resource is in the minds of our children." I will now be discussing the life of Walter Disney. Everyone as a child wanted to go to Disneyland or Disney World. Yet not many people know the man behind Disney World, Walter Elias Disney. Disney was born in 1901 in Chicago. Disney was one of 4 boys and 5 children. Disney originally moved to Missouri when he was 4 years old. He developed an interest in drawing when a neighborhood doctor asked him to draw a picture of his horse. He lived near the Santa Fe Railway, which is where he discovered his love of trains. In 1911, Disney moved to Kansas City, Missouri, where he met fellow student Walter Pfeiffer, who introduced Disney to the world of motion pictures, where it basically all began. Disney and his brother Roy took on a job as paper boys for more than 6 years while they attended school. Disney often received poor grades and was caught falling asleep in class. Disney in 1918 attempted to join the United States Army to fight against the Germans. He, however, was only 17 years old. Instead, he decided to forge his birth certificate to make him 18 years old, get a job with the Red Cross, and be an ambulance driver. Disney was forced to return to Kansas in 1919 when they discovered of his false documents, where he befriended fellow artist U.B. Works. Disney became interested then in cell animation over cutout animation. Disney opened a new business with U.B. Works, where he did short cartoons which were considered and called lacograms. The first 6 lacograms were modernized as fairy tales. The success of lacograms led to the establishment of a studio. Unfortunately, it did not produce enough income, and Disney had to start working on his first production of Alice in Wonderland. The film, however, was completed too late to save lacograms, and he filed for bankruptcy in 1923. Many people thought Disney to be a very kind and wonderful man, based on what was perceived. Disney himself said that he did not embody what Walt Disney was meant to be. He was a very heavy smoker. He smoked a pipe at a very young age, and also was a heavy drinker. Some perceived him as a rude person with little presence, but all of his employees said he was that of a cultural icon. Disney's films were highly praised, even though they received some criticism by his reviewers. Disney had also been accused of being a racist due to his films from the 1930s to the 1950s. None of Disney characters were ever of African American descent. Only after his death was he accused of being a racist, even though the Disney Family Museum acknowledges the ethnic stereotypes that were common in the films in the 1930s. Even after Disney died, his legacy lived on after his death. Disney's brother Roy continued to build Disneyland for him after his passing. Roy deferred his retirement to take on the responsibility of building the Disney companies. In 2014, Disney received the highest of all park openings with approximately 134 million visitors in that year. However, when Disney died, not many people were surprised due to his basic lack of health concerns, since he was a smoker since World War I. He was diagnosed with lung cancer in 1966 and died of circulatory collapse caused by lung cancer. His remains are to be found at the Forest Lawn Memorial Park. Now, as you have learned about Disney's early life and his passing, we will transition over into his many awards and honors. Disney holds the record for most Academy Awards earned by an individual. Of 59 nominations, he has won 22 Oscars. He was also presented with 2 Golden Globe Special Achievement Awards and an Emmy. In 1960, Disney was inducted into the Hollywood Walk of Fame with 2 stars, one for animation and one for motion pictures. the Walt Disney Family Museum records that among all the staff members as well, they have received more than 950 honors and citations from throughout the world. The United States rewarded Disney with the Presidential Medal of Freedom and the Congressional Gold Medal. Finally, we will be discussing the building of Disneyland, Disney World, and the creation of the iconic Mickey Mouse. Disney wanted a clean park where he could bring both his children and family. He unveiled the plans for Disneyland in 1954. It was later opened in 1955 as a series of themed lands: Adventureland, Frontierland, Fantasyland, and Tomorrowland. The New York Times considered that Disney had tastefully combined some of the pleasant things of yesterday with fantasy and dreams of tomorrow. Disneyland was receiving over 20,000 visitors a day by the end of its first year. Most of the money for Disneyland actually came from ABC, but it was contingent upon successful television programs. In 1955, Disney produced its first daily television program, The Mickey Mouse Club. Despite the demands through non-studio projects, Disney continues to work on film and television. He was involved in several aspects of full-length features: Lady and the Tramp, Sleeping Beauty, 101 Dalmatians, and The Sword and the Stone. Most people don't realize, but the movies from the 90s are not the original Disney films. They were remade from the ones in the 1950s. In late 1965, he announced plans to develop another theme park named Disney World, one to be in Orlando, Florida. They expected to have Magic Kingdom, a more elaborate version of Disneyland, which would also include golf courses and hotels. People always assume that it all started with a mouse, but that's actually incorrect. The first animation created by Disney was actually Pete, not Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse was actually a character made to be a suitor for Minnie Mouse. He was never made to be a main character. The first episode that he appeared in was one called Steamboat, where he was black and white. Only later on did he wear the red shorts and yellow shoes. He was also to replace Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. Disney went on to appear in more than 150 films. He is considered to be the most popular of all the Disney characters. Mickey became the first character to also receive a Hollywood Walk of Fame. Disney has become the main mascot for all children's things in the world. The original Mickey voice was done by Walt Disney himself. Mickey has become the mascot for Disneyland and Disney World. Now, in conclusion to all of this, you have learned about a man that became the iconic name Disney, how he began, how he built the Disney brand, and how he created the iconic mouse. Now, is there any questions?
No.